Hey, my creative friends. My name is Shannon from shannonstudio.com, and I am here to talk about a creative life, share some creative life tips, ideas, thoughts about anything creative. It's a broad spectrum that we kind of work with, and this is day 351. So 351 days in a row, I've done a content video. So I am really like figuring out what creativity means to me from doing these, and also because of that, in this process and even before this process, I am going to launch a Creative Heartbeats Club at the beginning of this month. So no, August 1st, at the end of this month will be signups, and so it'll be a time to be able to be creative and get some prompts and get some fun things. It'll just be fun. Hey, boyfriend. So I'm doing that, and let's see, Sweden, it's bright outside. Hey, Trisha. It's bright outside. It's 8:35 or something, and look at how bright it is outside. Kind of just looks like, I would say it looks like, mid-morning. So weird. Our Swedish summer's here. And it'll stay like this for another hour or so. Yeah, it doesn't get, yeah, it's the light season. So today we're going to talk about a quote I came across today that made me start to think. It's from Robert Louis Stevenson, and it says, "Don't judge each day by the harvest you reap, but by the seeds that you plant." So I was thinking about that, yeah, because we always are looking at the outcome. A lot of times we're looking, it's exciting, the outcome. A lot of times it's exciting, the end project, the painting that's finished, or the dress that's sewn, or the quilt that's done. And, we go through and we're excited about the end game, which we should be. I'm not saying we shouldn't be, but it made me think that there are seeds to be planted every day. And it's the each day. It's the each day. Each day we can't come up with a big project finished every single day. We can come up with small projects finished every single day. But we can plant seeds and develop things and the growth that we want to have happen every day. So I was reading in, let's see, Creative Confidence. It says, the creative spark needed to come up with new solutions is something you have to cultivate over and over again. And the whole idea of the benefits that we get from creativity happen because we are creative over and over again. That creative spark is planted, and it's sowing seeds on a regular basis. And then we're able to come up with new solutions. And then we're able to take the benefits, or take use of the benefits that come from being creative. Another quote from Creative Confidence is that whatever creative goal you choose, it is important to build on your experience and not let fear and inertia hold you back. So it's that idea of doing it over and over again. It's that idea of building on experiences. It's that idea that it's not just one and done. It is something that we will consistently do. It's the idea like practice makes perfect. It's that idea of the practicing every day. And I read this interesting story, which and I know about what to practice every day, and what that entails, whatever exercise we're doing. But this story was interesting to me because it showed a slightly different way, a unique way that he practiced. This is Henry Cowell. He lived 1897 to 1965, so it was a while ago. But he was a music composer, a music pioneer, experimental in his compositions and how he played. So it says in the book, the magazine, Time magazine, the Science of Creativity issue, that he was a trailblazing composer. In his childhood, though he did play the violin, he actually never practiced very hard. So, side note, isn't that the way kids are? Sometimes we just don't practice very hard sometimes. Okay, so back to the quote. He actually never practiced very hard because he was a little ill, and his mother didn't push him to do it. he says that he practiced in his own unique way. So when he says when all the other kids in the neighborhood would go inside to play their instruments from 4 to 5 p.m., he too would go inside to practice inside his head. He wrote, "For 1 hour every day, I sat down at the desk and practiced listening to sounds in my mind. I did this very methodically." And, you know, we talk about the benefits of practicing and that we need to practice. This was just so interesting to me that even just doing the thought practice every day led him in a direction to where he was a trailblazing composer. Listening to the sounds every day. So it made me think. First off, it made me think: who goes? What did the whole neighborhood go in from 4 to 5 o'clock? Did they have like a parent meeting that they all decided to have that happen? Side note, but it made me think of the idea that just thinking about something on a regular basis and how much benefit that is. So even if in the beginning you think about creativity, you think about how you want to be creative. I mean, they talk about visualizing how Olympic competitors will, play out their winning in their minds. So there's something to be said with the actual practice, definitely. But there's something to be said about practicing in your head. So if you can't even muster the ability to get up and do something, you can just start with practicing in your head. It seems so simple, but I think there's lots of benefits that will come out of just thinking about it on a regular basis. I can't imagine thinking about it. He says 1 hour every day, and he was very methodical about it, listening to the sounds. He had a plan that he wanted to do, even though his illness or his lack of health didn't facilitate or strongly motivate him to actually practice the instrument. So I just thought that was a great story and a whole unique perspective about the pattern of practicing daily. In the Creating Brain, there's a quote: develop your own creativity workout, just as you might develop a physical workout. So that's pushing the idea of a daily thing and making, we don't even bat an eye when we say, oh, I'm going to go work out at the gym. Yet we think it's some kind of indulgence to say, I'm going to go paint for an hour, or I'm going to go do something creative that's exciting and that you love to do. We don't as easily do that. Sometimes we don't see ourselves doing that, but because sometimes we want to say, I'm not that creative, or I don't have, I'm not skilled or trained. But if you spent the same amount of time you might spend at a gym, okay, if you don't go to the gym, spend a half an hour, doing a creative workout, then tell me at the end of a year, we're day 351, I think, if you don't become creative. I would find that hard to believe if you spent an hour a day being consistent, even if you started out just thinking about it and then moved to doing things, that you wouldn't eventually become creative because of the practice that you had. The Creating Brain also says, time in your daily life that is devoted exclusively to learning to think and perceive in novel ways. So just, again, the thinking, the devoted practice, the devoted time, the consistency. It's the consistency that needs to happen. Because one, it'll change, it changes you. Our personalities are able to change in consistent practice. The course of our lives can change. We can change the direction, the trajectory of where we're going. And then we can change the outcomes of our lives. We can be in control. We can be in control of our lives, and we don't have to be saying, well, this happens to me so I can't, or this happens to me, because the daily practice is going to be able to have you develop into a problem-solving person. So, or I should say the near daily practice. It doesn't have to be exactly every single day, but it has to be consistent. There has to be some consistency to your creative work, to your creative endeavors, for you to get the benefits of it. And so Creative Heartbeats Club is meant to do that. It is meant to give you a weekly consistent time to be able, because we'll do the same time. I think it's going to be a Saturday morning, about 8 o'clock in the morning, a consistent time every week where we meet and I give you the prompt and we talk about it, and I probably will do a live unless there's something going on, and I'll pre-record it. But it's a consistent time, and then you can work on it during the week. And so that Creative Heartbeats Club will be kind of a, well, for consistency, but then kind of an accountability where you have the date already set. Just like you set a time to go work out, you set a time to go out on a date, you set a time to go to church, you set a time to be creative. And so that's what I'm hoping to do, as have Creative Heartbeats Club do, is to help us to be consistent. So we make it that practice of daily doing it, or of regularly doing it. So again, from Robert Louis Stevenson, don't judge each day by the harvest you reap, but by the seeds that you plant. We are planting creative seeds. That's what we're going to be doing. That's what's going to bring us the great benefits that come from living a creative life. So consistency, that's the tip tonight, and Creative Heartbeats will help you do that. I will be back tomorrow. So in the meantime, remember, you have a creative heartbeat, so listen for it. And bye for now.